What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie review. My name's Big Cam, and today we are talking about 1990's Another 48 Hours. And this movie, of course, stars Nick Nolte and the great Eddie Murphy. And this movie, of course, is directed by Walter Hill all over again, but this one is 8 years after the first 48 Hours. So, not necessarily a sequel. I believe the first 48 Hours was, what, 82? So then, I believe there might be... It might have gone 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, and then he did another 48 Hours, and then he waited till 91, I think the year after this, to do Beverly Hills Cop 3, and then he waited 20, 30 years until Axel Foley, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, you know, the new one that came out on Netflix that I don't think anyone watched. But in my opinion, the Beverly Hills Cop movies are way more entertaining and way more funny. But they also have, you know, Eddie's the star and not a co-star. Where this is like very much so a two-handed co-starring role where Nick Nolte's the straight guy and Eddie Murphy's the funny guy. And Nick Nolte's great. I actually like his look in this movie a lot more. The 82 look of Nick Nolte was a little too 80s, you know what I mean? But this, he's grown up a little bit. He's got a better haircut. His face looks a little bit more familiar to me. That voice, though, is so iconic. That Nick Nolte voice. But Eddie Murphy, too, you know, he's iconic as well. And I love how, like, they are always at each other's wits' end, right? And they're always button heads like rams. But at the end of the day, they end up still kind of working together as a good team and, like, you know, being successful as a team. And you're like, yeah, that's what you want to see. You don't want to see them just get destroyed by each other. Like, no, I want to see them beat the bad guys at the end of the day. So, of course, you know, that's what happens. And the way this movie ended, it almost left it like that there could have been a 48 Hours 3, but then I guess what would you call that one? Because this one, you know, some of the other titles for this, like the Spanish title was 48 Hours Más. You know, like, you really got to think your titles through, because, you know, at a certain point you can't have another 48 Hours, right? Like, that just sounds dumb, so they never did it, right? Like, and this movie ended at 2. Original and a sequel, that's it, you know, like... What else do you want? But this one at least threw me for a little bit of a loop because, you know, eventually they find out, right, spoilers for this movie, eventually they find out, like, that there's a cop that is actually the guy he's been looking for the whole time. And then they kind of misdirect you and you think it's going to be one guy and it's actually a different guy. And once they finally reveal it, I was like, oh, it's this guy. And then they find him and then they're like, nope, it's not him, it's this guy. And the guy pops out and you're like, what? Oh, shit. They misdirected me so good. And I guess maybe on a rewatch, obviously, I would understand. But because this was my first time seeing this, it hit good for me, you know? Like, the twist at the end of who it really was hit me. And I was like, oh! And I adjusted my scores. For 48 Hours, the first one, I gave 3.5 stars. I'm going to give that movie 3 stars, and I'm going to up this score to 3.5 out of 5 stars for another 48 Hours. So, it's about a 7 out of 10, 3.5 out of 5 stars. That's a good movie. This one, I like just a touch more, just a smidge, just a half star more than the first one. Enough so that I wouldn't have given this movie 4 stars, but I deducted a half star from that movie and gave this movie that half star. You understand what I mean? So, if you guys want to see all of my Letterboxd rankings and reviews, the link is down in the description below for those. Go check those out. If you have any movie recommendations for me, something along the lines of a 48 Hours or, you know, just something random, I would love to hear your movie recommendations down below. I also did Christmas last year, so there's going to be a Christmas playlist on the channel, and all those videos will be from last year, but I'm going to be continuing on probably after Thanksgiving back into some Christmas time movies. So if you got Christmas recommendations for me, I'd love to hear those down in the comment section below. Maybe comment below some Nick Nolte movie recommendations. Would love to hear those. But also, I'd love to hear just like what you guys are watching. You know, did you guys check out Dune Prophecy over the last weekend? I know I did on Sunday night, and I stayed up way too late, and I'm exhausted, and I have bags under my eyes at the current moment. But it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. If you'd like to support the channel, the best way to do that is by liking this video, subscribing if you're new, hitting that bell so you don't miss future videos and you get those notifications. My name's Big Cam. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.